The Department of Petroleum Resources is taking steps to ensure movement during the festive season is not marred by the activities of smugglers of petroleum products. It has been visiting filling stations in border towns for strict compliance with the federal government's directive on the suspension of the sale of fuel. Wolabi Adenusi compiled this report.
In the last 3 years, Adamawa State has experienced scarcity of petroleum products, especially during the festive season. Smugglers often divert the product through communities around the border. But this year seems different, considering the presidential directive on the suspension of fuel to stations in border towns. The head of the DPR in Adamawa and Taraba states and his team are out on tour to some petrol stations within the bordering communities for first-hand information. Ibrahim Chiroma notes that before the border closure, Adamawa received 100 trucks of fuel daily, but the supply has dropped to between 30 to 40 trucks.
During our last surveillance exercise, there is a substantial drop in the number of trucks that we receive here in Adamawa. It used to be about 100 trucks a day. Now it has fallen below 30. It's between 30 and 40 now. So it's a clear indication that since those at the border are no longer getting it, so it has to drop naturally. And also the ones crossing the border is no longer crossing because we don't have any fuel there for somebody to siphon into jerrycans and cross the border with it.
Residents shared their views on the advantage of the border closure.
As a Nigerian, one who is interested in, the good economy of this country, one cannot but support initiatives like this. More so that we hear that since the imposition of the new order, the consumption of fuel in Adamawa State has dropped from 100 trucks per day to just about 30 or 40, which means it has curbed a lot of smuggling activities. So this is wonderful. I think we give kudos to officials of DPR here in Adamawa State.
Although the supply of fuel in prohibited areas has been fully affected, measures are also taken to ensure that other petrol stations not within the prohibited zones are dispensing petrol products. This will enable people in those zones get fuel easily without traveling long distances.